Tonight, the fate of former President Trump's most famous properties could be up in the air, with Trump attorneys telling a judge he's unable to secure bond in the $464 million civil fraud judgment against him, asking a judge for an emergency stay. Guarantors won't accept real estate as collateral, but want nearly $500 million in cash, which Trump's company doesn't have, his lawyers say. If he cannot post bond for the full amount by next week, Democratic New York Attorney General Letitia James could start seizing his assets, potentially even his Trump Tower penthouse. In their filing, Trump attorneys argue the penalty is grossly disproportional when there were, quote, no victims, no damages, and no actual financial losses in the case. It comes as the Trump campaign also faces blowback amid Mr. Trump's new inflammatory rhetoric against what he calls criminal migrants.
They're not people, in my opinion, but I'm not allowed to say that because the radical left says that's a terrible thing to say. These are animals, okay?
Mr. Trump has vowed to bring back his Remain in Mexico policy that keeps migrants waiting outside the U.S. until courts decide their asylum cases. The Biden administration is releasing 85% of migrants into the U.S. while they wait for asylum decisions. And tonight, the presumptive GOP nominee also pushing back, saying Democrats, quote, pretended to be shocked at my use of the word bloodbath during this riff about Chinese car makers.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars if I get elected. Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
Mr. Trump saying he was referring to President Biden allowing imports he says are killing the auto industry. Late tonight, calling Democratic attacks, quote, misinformation.
The word bloodbath, I used it about trade, essentially auto trade, because we're getting ripped off with Biden's really dumb auto policy.
The Biden campaign rejecting that it was about only cars.
Every single day, Donald Trump is promoting and endorsing and encouraging political violence on the stump.
And Garrett, NBC News also has new reporting tonight about President Biden showing some growing frustration about his re-election campaign. What do we know?
Yeah, that's right, Lester. President Biden shouted and swore about falling poll numbers in a January White House meeting and has felt cocooned by staff eager to move more aggressively in campaigning against Mr. Trump, sources tell NBC News. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.